Greetings. The next character I wanted to have a look at is Vivienne, for several reasons. One reason is that she is the polar opposite of Sera in many, many ways, if not every way. And another reason is I genuinely think she is a well-written, well-done character, especially compared to Sera. While she's not essential in the same sense as Cassandra or even semi-essential, such as Varric, she is a character that adds something to the game and adds something to the main plot, because we do the Wicked Hearts mission in the main plot, which involves, of course, penetrating the Winter Palace in Orlais and getting involved in the politics there and dealing with Empress Celine or not and what have you. And she's very well familiar with that. And she's also very well familiar with the Circle of Magi. She is a supporter of the Circle of Magi, a supporter of the Templar Order. And though I can understand people's animosity towards her, the sort of emotional reactions people have, and mind you, this is not the reaction I had towards Sera. I just have a what the fuck in my head. It's not an emotional one. Vivienne is overall a well-written character. Some of her comments are hilarious, and the party banter. If you've watched or listened to some of the Sera and Vivienne party banter, it's really priceless. It's great. Is she afraid of demons? Well, yes, but rightly so. Demons are dangerous to deal with, and even Solus is off the mark on occasion with respects to demons. So it's justified. She brings to the Inquisition, I would argue, knowledge of Orlesian politics, knowledge of the inner workings of the Circle of Magi, and she brings her own perspective. And whether you agree with her or not that the Circle of Magi should be reinstated, or that the Templar Order is essential, she has her stance and she can explain it well. Numerous times she offers an explanation as to why. It's not a sort of willy-nilly, oh, we just need the Circle of Magi. Oh, we need Templars. She presents arguments such as magic is a danger akin to fire being a danger, and those who play with it without paying proper attention, and I'm paraphrasing, get burned, just as with fire. That makes sense. That may or may not be true in some sort of ontological sense, in this case of the ontology of magic in the world of Thetis. We don't know ultimately. But it's her viewpoint. She can offer justification, and she can offer evidence in favor of her argument. She can look at what happened to the Circle of Magi tower in Ferelden during the Warden mission. We all know what happened there, abomination, infestation, etc. These were serious issues, and thus she sees the necessity of the Templar Order. She also realizes, I think, much more than any mage we've encountered in the past, with the exception perhaps of Wynne, the reality of what magic looks like to your average person. People call her arrogant, they call her aristocratic, they call her unnecessarily smug. Okay, maybe. But then again, in spite of all of that, or perhaps because of all of that, she realizes what the common man sees when he sees magic. And she also realized what the mage rebellions instilled in the common folk. As she mentions, a common folk that outnumbers mages 100 to 1. Fear. She saw the mage rebellion as coming at a completely inopportune time, and it created a greater fear of magic. Now, I believe Vivienne is someone who cares for the general weal. She is very ambitious, and she has some slight tendencies towards self-righteousness, and she is, on some level, selfish. Everyone is. But generally speaking, yes, she cares for the general weal. She has her own way of going about it, and she argues this thoroughly with Blackwall. Blackwall believes that sort of drifting into someone's life can change their lives, and Vivienne doesn't. Vivienne thinks that changes can be enacted and affected better through the power of politics, particularly when you stand in a position of authority. This is not an incorrect view, and it's a view that can be supported with evidence and arguments. And she can argue all of her points. I think she's an excellent character overall. The sort of rancorous hatred directed towards her, particularly on the Bioware sociopathy forums. That's nothing new there. I mean, the emotion there is incredible. It's tense. You can feel it. Is misplaced. Especially when you compare her to Sera. I mean, Sera is obnoxious, admittedly, but she's a parallel child. She's stunted mentally. She doesn't understand the way the world works. Vivienne might not understand everything, but she has a fairly good grasp of what's going on. It's not perfect, but you can respect the things she's saying. It depends, of course, what character you're role-playing. If you're playing an apostate English mage who thinks, magic should rule in your own name, then no. But in the current case of my current dwarf Templar, he's a Templar, yeah, he's going to probably back Vivienne as divine, and he's completely behind her. He sees her viewpoints, and he believes that the common people need to be protected from magic in some cases, as does she. She's not a incoherent character, and I think that's perhaps one of her greatest strengths. Whether you agree with her or not, her views are consistent. She can offer justifications, explanations, and in many cases, evidence. You can't say the same thing of Sera at all. Sera is inconsistent. She doesn't know what she wants. She's still going through growing pains, even though she appears to be in her late 20s. It's very odd what's going on with Sera, I'll tell you. But one thing that's not going on with her is coherency, not in the same sense of Vivienne. And Vivienne, of course, is not the only coherent character in the game, but I'm specifically talking about Vivienne here. So I can say I appreciate Vivienne. I think she was well written, not essential, but relevant, highly relevant to the plot. She knows the circles of Magi, aka Mage Rebellion, or i.e. Mage Rebellion rather. She knows about the Templars. She knows about Orlesian politics. She fits in with it all, and she knows the Chantry. This is a well-written character that did a good job. I don't have any real issues with Vivienne. Of course, the exception being I roleplay a kind of character that is vehemently opposed to the kinds of things she advocates, which I think could only probably be some sort of mage hell-bent on freedom, which I haven't done yet, but, there you go. I don't really have much else to say about Vivienne. Everything I said there, I believe, stands and can be backed up by evidence in the game. She offers cogent arguments. She explains things well. The same cannot be said of Sera. And it's funny, on a final note regarding Sera, and this is about Vivienne, that if you offer some of these arguments on the BSN, people will offer Sera's inscrutability, that is her mental stuntedness, as an example of her being a great character. The fact that you can't make out what she actually is when she herself cannot, that's a good example of writing and character development and character creation. I don't share that view at all. Vivienne, you know what you're getting when you talk to her a little bit, and ultimately she wants to protect the people, and I think that is alongside ambition. Yeah, she's ambitious for herself, fine. But she doesn't wish harm upon the world. I think she wishes to protect the world in her own way. She might be completely wrong, ultimately, as we learn more and more about the lore in Thedas, but who cares? What we're talking about here is a character that is overall well-written, plot relevant, not essential, but plot relevant, and yeah, no real complaints there. Apart from her specialization, the Knight Enchanter, which I still haven't actually officially tried, but there you go. Anyway, thanks for watching, and this is noticeably shorter than Sera, but I don't really have any serious issues with Vivienne. I just wanted to pay her a compliment and explain my reasoning for those compliments, as well as why I think she's a well-done character. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys the next time for the next Dragon Age Inquisition Companion character analysis, and as always, may the gods be with you, because the Maker doesn't exist. Bye-bye.